Hi everyone, Mrs. York here, and today's lesson we're going to be talking about percent application along with percent increase and decrease. So let's get started. So the first application we're going to talk about is what we call business application, and there's a formula that you can work with for this where you take the total pay, which equals the base salary plus the commission. And what the commission is you take the percent of your total sales. So I have an example here to work with this formula. So this example says a telemarketer earns $350 per week plus a 12% commission on sales. Find her total pay for a week in which her sales are $940. So when we're looking at this, when we think of our base salary, that's going to be the amount she's making per week. So that's the $350. Then I'm going to add the commission to that. And what the commission is the percent of the total sales. So it's 12% commission on sales, and her sales are $940. Remember, when we're working with percents, we need to change them into decimals. So if I have 12%, to make that a decimal, it just becomes 0.12 because I moved that decimal 2 places to the left from percent to decimal. So then I'll add my 12%, which is 0.12, times the sales, which is $940. And when I solve this, thinking of orders of operation, you first have to multiply 0.12 times 940, then add $350, and you're going to get a total of $462.80 for this problem. The next type of formula you're going to see in this section is simple interest. And the formula for that is I equals P times R times T. Some of you might have seen this formula before. I represents your simple interest. P is your principal, which is your starting rate that you're going to start with. R is your rate per year, and T is your time in years. So here's our first example. Find the simple interest earned after 2 years on an investment of $3,000 at 4.5% interest earned annually. So I'm going to use this formula to set this up to help me solve. So we're solving for I here. That's what we're solving for. Equals P, my principal, is my starting rate. My starting rate is $3,000 times my rate. My rate is the percent per year. So this here is 4.5%. We do need to make that 4.5% a decimal, which is going to be 0.045 times my rate, times my T, years, which is 2. I multiply that all out, so my I, my simple interest, is going to be $270. Let's look at the next problem. The simple interest paid on a loan after 6 months was $306. The annual interest rate was 8%. Find the principal. So in this situation, we're given our I, which is $306, equals my P, my principal. That's what we're trying to find. So I'll write that as a variable P, times my rate. My rate is 8%. Again, we need to write that as a decimal, which is 0.08, times my time, which is in years. Now it's 6 months, so that's half a year. So I'll put 0.5. When I multiply this out to find the principal for this problem, what I'll actually have is 306 on the left equals 0.08 times 0.5, which is P times 0.04. We need to solve for P, so we think of solving equations. You divide 0.04 to the right, divide it to the left. So my P here is going to equal 7,000 $650, and that's the principal for that problem. Here we're getting into more estimating with percents. Remember, estimating is not exact numbers, we're rounding. Look at this problem. It says estimate a 15% tip on a check for $21.98. So I first have to round this $21.98, so round $21.98. We're going to round that to $22. Then we have to think that 15% would be 10% plus 5%. So if we think 10% of 22, 10% of 22 is going to give me about $2, roughly about $2. 5% of 10 so 5% actually is going to be my 10 divided by the 2. What's 10 divided by 2? That's going to give me 5% there. So I take 2 divided by 2, which is going to give me 1. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add this 2 and 1. So 2 plus 1 is going to give me 3. And so what I'm going to do is I need to estimate about how much tip it would be, and it's going to be about $3 tip I would give for that person for a $21.98 bill with a 15% tip. That's the amount of tip I would give. The next thing we're going to talk about is percent change, and this is an increase or decrease given as a percent of the original amount. Percent increase is the amount that has grown, and percent decrease is the amount that has been reduced. So percent increase formula, think of new minus old divided by old. Percent decrease, you think of the same formula, new minus old divided by old. You are going to get for your answer a negative number. But you would think of the opposite of negative. Just think of it, whatever answer you get as a negative, you just switch it to a positive. So let's do a few percent increase and decrease problems. So for these examples, we have find each percent change, whether it's a percent increase or decrease. So let's think of the formula I just showed you. New minus old, divided by your old, or your original, you can say. So here we have our new is 110, our old is 200. So it's going to be 110 minus 200 divided by my old, which is 200. So what I get for that, 110 minus 200 gives me a negative 90 over 200. Negative 90 divided by 200 gives me a negative 0.45. So it's a percent decrease happening right there, which is going to be a 45% decrease since it's negative for our answer for A. The second one, from 25 to 30, we will have 30 new minus old, 25 over my old or my original. 30 minus 25 divided by 25 is going to give me 0.20, which is a 20% increase for this problem. Notice there's not a negative sign, so it's a percent increase. The previous problem we had a negative for our answer, so that's percent decrease. Our last example for percent change is from 80 to 115. So I take 115 minus 80 divided by 80. And when I solve that out, I'm going to get approximately 0.4375. So that's going to be about 43.75% increase. Last slide. It says find the result when 72 is increased by 25%. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to take 72 and I'm going to multiply it by the 25%. So 72 times 25% as a decimal is 0.25, which is going to give me, when I multiply that, it's going to be 19.1875, and we add that to the original 72, and when we add that together, actually, I'm sorry, I think that's actually going to give us, let me double check here, 72 times 0.25 gives me actually 18, not 19, so this is going to be 18 here. So 18 plus 72 equals 90. So when 72 is increased by 25%, it's now going to be 90. What is the result when 10 is decreased by 40%? So we take 10, we multiply by 0.40, we're going to get 4. So since we get 4, we're going to subtract 4 from 10, so 10 minus 4, which is going to give me 6. So the new price here is going to be $6 with a 40% decrease from $10. So that's it for this lesson. Let me know if you have questions, and we'll continue going over examples in class.